Hi guys, good morning. I hope you're doing good. I wanted to go ahead and look at our homework. So go ahead and get your homework pulled up and then you can watch this video. What I need you to do is check your video because I want to make sure that everything is correct. So start with the first one, which is this blue slide, and then take a look at what they're saying. They're saying which three statements represent a unit rate. And when you think of unit rate, you are going to want to think of um, a unit, like a unit cube or one thing. Okay. So when somebody gives you a statement or you have a statement that talks about or gets to one thing, you want to have an idea in your head like, oh, right away, this is unit rate. Okay. So look at letter A. Letter A says carrots cost $2 per pound. Okay. Per pound. That's that key word there that's going to tell you that you know that it's one per 1 pound. Okay, so that is a unit rate. So letter A is a unit rate because the carrots cost $2 per 1 pound. So anytime you get to one, okay, that's a unit rate. So on your slides, you can just go ahead and double click, and you can highlight it, and you can change the color if you like. Let's make it. Oh, we don't make it transparent. Sure. Nope, that didn't work. We'll just change color. Whatever. That's easier. All right. Letter B. Sylvia buys 5 shirts for $75. Mm, let's hold off on that one. I'm going to say no on that one. Okay. What about letter C? It takes Juan 3 hours to drive 165 miles. I'm going to say no on that one. Okay. What about letter D? A recipe calls for 2 cups of sugar for every gallon of water. And every means every 1 gallon of water. Okay. So that one absolutely is a unit rate because they are suggesting that it's for every 1 gallon. Like letter A, carrots are cost per 1 pound. Okay. All right. And then this one says a teacher divides her students so there are 11 students per group, per one group. Anytime you get to one, it's all unit rate. Now these two that I didn't highlight, B and C, these are ratios. All right. They're just saying that you buy 5 shirts for $75. That's just a ratio. That's not really talking about unit rate. If they want to talk about unit rate for Sylvia, it would be Sylvia bought one shirt for $15. Okay. And same with this one, same with one. 3 hours to drive 165 miles. That's just a ratio. You would have to divide 165 divided by 3, all right, to figure out how many miles he would drive in 1 hour. So those two are not, okay, but A, D, and E are, okay? All right. The last one on here, it says, I have 8 apples, 7 oranges, and 12 bananas. What is the ratio of total fruit? So your total fruit is needing to get added up. So 8 apples, 7 oranges, and then 12 bananas. So 8 plus 7 is 15. 15 plus 12 is 27. Okay, so you want to drop the text box. And the ratio is 27 to, and what do they want to know? Oranges. How many oranges are there? 7. All right. And I'll make it bigger. And I'll make it a different color. Put it in red. Okay. So what is the ratio of total fruit? Your total is 27. That has to go first. And oranges, that's second. It has to go second. Okay. All right. So that's that slide. Make sure you check your work. Here's the next one. Which pair of numbers has 8 as a common factor? So you want to think about 8 as a common factor. So let's look at the first one. A says 8 and 12. Well, 8's a common factor of 8, but 12 isn't because 8 times 1 is 8, 8 times 2 is 16, so you're not going to get to 12. So 8's not going to be a number that can be multiplied by something to get to 12. So A does not work. What about B? Does B work? Well, 8 times 2, so 8 times 2 is 16, and 8 times 5 is 40. So this one absolutely works, because those are both factors. 8's a factor of both of these, all right? What about C? C says 24. Well, I know that 8 times 3, so 8 could be a factor. 8 times 3 is 24, but 8 times 4 is 32, 8 times 5, so this one does not work. And this one looks like it would work, but if it did work, this has to be 9. Right? Then here's D, 28 and 32. Well, 8's a factor of 32, right? But not 28. And I think the thing that they're hinting towards is this, which pair? This right here where it says this pair of numbers has a common factor. So a pair is 2. So both numbers have to be a factor of 8. So it would be B. Okay. All right. That's that one. This is the next one. The length of a rectangle, it should be rectangular, sorry. The rectangular table is 7 inches and the width is 1/2. What is the total area of the table? Well, when you guys are looking at area, I know that you know that it is length times width. Okay, I'm going to add another text box in here. I know that you know that it is length times width. Okay? Let me make it bigger. I'll make it bold. Okay, length times width. So if my length is 7 times 1/2, I just have to multiply that out. And I'll go ahead and move you over to my screen here. All right, take a look at this. If I have 7 times 1/2, you can do this. All right? You just have to remember that every whole number has got to stand on some 1. Okay? Every whole number stands on some 1. And then when you multiply across. You take your numerator, 7 times 1 equals 7. And then 1 times 2 is 2. All right? And that answer is fine, but you want to make sure that you are precise when you're looking at math. And you want to say that this is a little larger in the numerator, so you want to make this a mixed number. So then you want to simplify it, make it a mixed number. So you want to look at it 7 divided by 2. 7 divided by 2. All right? 2 goes into 7. 3 times 2 is 6. When you subtract, you get 1. This right here becomes your numerator. And then this is your denominator. So you want to put 3.5. Okay? 3.5. So this equals 3 and 1/2. And I'll make it bigger so you can see it. Okay. All right. Next slide. All right, here's the next one. You earn 15 cents for every cup of hot chocolate you sell. How many cups do you need to sell to earn $55.25? What operation makes sense to you? Well, they're not really asking you to total anything, so you wouldn't want to use addition, okay? They want to know how many cups you need to sell. Well, I wouldn't want to multiply anything, so I'm not increasing. They want to know how many cups. So like if you have to figure out how many cups, it's like you have to break them down or figure out a division problem, okay? So I'm going to put on my camera again, and you want to start with how much money you have. Start with your cost. $55.25. Start with $55.25. Okay, because that's your total, right? That's what you want to try to get to. And then each cup is 15 cents, right? But when you divide with this decimal on the outside, you need to make sure that you know right away that that's a red flag, okay? There's like, you can't do that. All right, you can't divide like this unless you use your calculator, then you can. But when you write it out, you have to make sure that this is a whole number. And you can do that because you can move the decimal place over 2. But whatever you do on the outside, you got to do on the inside. So move this over 2 and then up. Okay, and then you can divide like you would normally. So how many times does 15 go into 55? And you're going to say 1 is 15, 2 is 30. Let's try 3. So 3 times 15, and I'll do it over here. 3 times 15 is 45. All right, so then you subtract 45. You end up with 10. Bring down your next number. Okay. How many times does 15 go into 102? And I don't know off the top of my head, but I can look at this. And I know that 3 groups of 15 is 45. So if I want 3 more groups of 45, that would be 90 if I add those together. So that's pretty close. So I'm going to say 6. So 6 times 15 then is 90. And if I subtract, I get 12. And I bring down my next 5. All right. And I think to myself, how many 15s go into 125? But I already know that from this, these 6 are 90. And if I want another group, that's 7. That's kind of low. So I could probably add another one. That's 8 groups of 15. Oh, so 8 groups of 15 work, because 8 groups of 15 are 8 times 15 is 120. And put a 5. All right, I got this remainder. So I want to add a 0, because if I add a 0 after the decimal point, it doesn't matter, right? So 15 goes into 50. I know that from up here. It was 3 times. 3 times 15 is 45. All right, 50 minus 45 is 5. I end up with this remainder again, so I add another 0. Well, what's going to happen is I'm going to keep getting this to repeat, all right? All right, but that's okay, because I can look at this number and say that if I have $55.25 and each cup of coffee is 15 cents, I can figure out that I need to sell 368.33 cups of coffee. But logically, can I sell 0.33 cups of coffee? No. I have to sell 369 cups of coffee in order for me to make this price. Okay. All right. Okay, so 369. So you want to drop a text box in. You want to put in 369. And then you want to use the division. And I would always check it on my calculator too, if you guys want. All right, last one. Here we go. All right, it says the chef makes 3 containers of soup that fill a total of 120 bowls. Okay, so a chef makes 3 containers of soup. So 3 containers of soup that fill a total of 120 bowls. All right, so I'm just writing down what they're telling me right now while I read this to you. Okay, each container of soup costs $30 to make. All right, so I'm just writing down what they're telling me. So 1 container of soup is $30 to make. All right, and then what is the cost per bowl for the soup? Okay, they want to know per bowl. All right, so I'm going to flip you over to my other page. Here we go. All right, so I wrote down what they told me. There's 3 containers of soup that the chef makes, and it makes 120 bowls, okay? They also told me this information. 1 container of soup is $30, okay? And the question is, the chef wants to figure out how much it is per bowl, okay? All right, well, we have to figure out how much it is per bowl, but we only have this information to go on. But using this information, we can figure out how much it is per bowl, okay? All right, well, let's start with this. What if we figured out how much one container of soup would make? How many bowls? All right. So if we wanted to figure out the unit or per one, we could go ahead and use division. We could look at 120 bowls, right? And then 3 containers of soup. And I'm going to look at this right away and say, I know that 3, and I'm just putting this here so we know there's soup and bowls. And maybe if that's too hard, that's okay. How about we do it like this? Bowls and soup. Okay? Because I want to know how many bowls are in one container of soup. All right. So take 120 divided by 3, which is 40. All right. So that's good because I know that 1 container of soup then will give me 40 bowls. Okay. And if I know that 1 container of soup is $30, and this is 1 container, I can change this and this will end up being $30. So it's $30 for 40 bowls. Okay. So then if it's $30 for 40 bowls, you can do cost divided by item. So it's 30 divided by 40. And for this one, I would just use your calculator. I mean, you can work it out if you like to, but for unit rate, I wouldn't worry about it too much. So here's my calculator. So do 30.00 divided by 40 equals 0.75. So it's 75 cents a bowl. Okay. All right. See you guys later. Bye.